Hello guys, how is everyone today? Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. Today I want to test the Up N Atomizer, the new weapon that was released today as part of the Festive Surprise DLC, but this weapon was actually released a few days earlier. You could get it in event cargo, but most people, they got it today, including myself. Have been trying to get into an event cargo, haven't been pretty successful with that. But anyways, I want to test this weapon, see what this weapon is like, and the number one question is, can this weapon stop Oppressor Mark II spam? And it can in a way. I'm going to show that in a moment here, but first thing, testing it against NPCs, it actually does a pretty good job. It's not going to blow up NPC cars, but it can throw NPCs back and also players back. It kills players in 2 shots and kills most NPCs in 2 shots, but some stronger NPCs in certain missions can take a lot more damage. Now the big question is, can this weapon stop Oppressor Mark II spam? If you hit somebody with this weapon that's on an Oppressor Mark II, they'll fall off, and they'll most likely die because they'll start plummeting to the ground, but they could technically survive. I've had some people survive, some of my friends in these tests have survived, and they've gotten back up, but it'll still take 2 shots to kill them, so just hit them a second time with this after they fall to the ground, and they'll die. But anyways, regardless, it disables the Oppressor Mark II. This is definitely one of the best new counters to the Oppressor Mark II, so if you see somebody using an Oppressor Mark II, just fire this at them. If somebody's acting like a griefer right here, my friend basically is simulating a griefer when they're just constantly diving down and trying to hit you, try firing it at them, try timing your shots, but also keep moving. Don't stand in the same place because that's how they get you. If you stand in the same place, if you keep moving, it's a lot harder for the Oppressor Mark IIs to hit you. Try to time your shots. Unfortunately, this thing has a long travel time, so you really have to be precise, and you have to shoot where they're going, not where they are. But if you do hit them, they can go flying off. My friend was trying to avoid me right here, and I ended up shooting him, and he flew off. So if you see somebody on Oppressor Mark II, you can definitely use this to counter them. I'm playing in free aim, but if you're playing on auto aim, this will be even easier. Some players, what they might start doing is they might start flying higher to avoid being shot by this thing, but this weapon also might act as a deterrent, and a deterrent in the way that if somebody on an Oppressor Mark II is trying to kill you and you start firing this weapon at them, they might fly away realizing that you're using this weapon, and they might start attacking the next person. So it might be a deterrent in that it'll drag people away. It'll make people go away from you and stop attacking you. This weapon is strange in the way that it fires. Instead of firing one projectile, it fires kind of like a blast effect. So it hits everything that's in that small surrounding area, that area of impact. And as you guys can see, I'm tilting the Oppressor Mark II a little bit to the side, not knocking him off here, but the blast does have an effect on him. And eventually, I get close enough, it knocks him off. In terms of range, this gun has pretty good range, but most other pistols still beat it in distance. If you fire this at somebody, like I said earlier, it's going to take most of the time 2 shots to kill someone. They will be able to see the shot coming, but most likely won't be able to dodge it because it does fire pretty quickly. This gun does have unlimited ammo, which is nice, but it does have a slow fire rate, and I think the slow fire rate, it's there to balance it, because if this had a fast fire rate, everybody would be using this. One other thing that I was curious about this gun was whether it could be used in drive-bys, and it can't be used in drive-bys, so whenever you're driving a vehicle, you can't use this gun. I'm not really disappointed by that. It is a condo, but it was used to balance the gun, because imagine people could shoot this while driving, be kind of crazy. And my favorite thing about this gun is the fact that it can get vehicles unstuck. If you're ever doing like a cell mission and one of your vehicles gets stuck like on a rock or gets stuck somewhere and you can't get it out, instead of wasting time getting the Phantom Wedge, which most people do, you could just get this gun and you could angle it exactly where you want. Because the Phantom Wedge, you have to hit it at a certain angle. This you can go around all around the vehicle and just keep hitting it until it gets unstuck. So definitely going to be helpful in cell missions if your vehicles ever get stuck. And lastly, can this weapon be used in Heist? I was very curious on that, and it can be used in Heist. It will help in Heist in certain situations, but other situations it can actually be worse than most other guns. Like here in the Avenger mission for Act 2, Merryweather, they were taking so many shots from this thing. I had to fire so many shots at them. It wasn't 2. It was numerous shots just to kill them, and they were shooting me up, and I was taking a lot of damage. So, I mean, in certain missions, maybe like when vehicles are coming towards you, you can like make them crash, you can make them fly in like a different direction, but in terms against most enemies and like missions that have like extra health, it's not really going to be helpful there. And here we come to the pros and the cons. And the first pro is it's free. If you log in today on the 25th, you will get it as part of the Festive Surprise DLC. So I highly suggest that everybody log in. You know, you get your guns, and it's unlimited ammo. Has unlimited ammo, you can keep firing this as much as you want, but again, remember, it has a slow fire rate to balance it, but you don't ever have to purchase ammo for this thing, and it can stop the Oppressor Mark II. If you time your shots correctly, you can stop an Oppressor Mark II, and if you're in an auto-aim lobby and somebody's trying to dive bomb you with an Oppressor Mark II, this will work even better. You can just shoot them off, they'll go flying off, and you can just kill them. Takes 2 shots to kill somebody with, pretty good on there. Has good range, but again, remember, it's not as good as most other pistols. Most other pistols still have farther range, but this thing definitely does more damage. And it can be used in Heist. Definitely a plus, helps out in Heist, but in many missions, the enemies will have more health than in free mode, so remember to keep that in mind. Even though it'll kill most NPCs in free mode in 2 shots, in Heist it might take a lot more, and it can get vehicles unstuck. I think this is the best thing about this, besides stopping Oppressor Mark IIs, that it'll help get vehicles unstuck. Because, you know, in the past, if we got a cell vehicle stuck, we would have to get the Phantom Wedge out, and then we would have to angle it correctly. Here, we can just open up our weapon wheel, take this thing out, hit the vehicle a few times, don't have to worry about blowing it up, it'll get it unstuck. And the cons are, some enemies resist it, like I said earlier, in Heist especially, and like in Headhunter, these NPCs will be able to take multiple shots from them. It'll be better just to use other older weapons against them. And has a slow fire rate, even though that is a con, I do believe that's there to balance it out, because imagine if this thing fired like at a crazy fire rate, a lot of people will be abusing it. Another con is it can't be used in drive-bys. Even though this is also a con, it's used to balance the weapon out, because if this weapon had a really fast fire rate, people were able to use this in drive-bys, imagine how crazy this would be. People would just be abusing this non-stop. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think of the new gun. Do you like it? If you enjoyed this review, drop a like. If you're new to my channel and enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.